y'all doing here in South Florida? Boy, let me get this out there because most of you know anything, and if you know me well enough, you know anything can fly out of my mouth. So, disclaimer, you know, these are my views, nobody else's views and opinions. So, you know, keep me out of the doghouse, so to speak. Uh, It is November 29th, 2002, I hope. Oh man, what a great weekend. We had Leon Arthur's Family and Friends event this past Saturday at Arcadia. We had quite a bit of people from South Florida. Hey, Linda. Hey, Kim. Uh, we had quite a bit of people from all over South Florida there. I would say we had about 65 people there. Leon, it was at Leon's house. So, Leon took him a tour of his house that he built by hand. Uh, of course, me and my camp members got there early to help Leon and his camp out, get set up, get organized, and everything. Good food, good fellowship. Just catching up with everybody. It was a good time. If you missed it, I'm sorry. Uh, I know there's a lot of people up in North Florida that probably would have come, but like I said, it was a good time, good event, and everything. Uh, you know, Want to give a shout out to Leon and Klaus. They presented me with the 15th Brigade flag. I was truly honored about that. Like I said, they're brothers. They're brothers. Good and good friends, both of them. So we had people from SCV, OCR, Mechanized Cavalry there. Like I said, from all over South Florida, good fellowship. Leon did put a good program together. I talked about you guys, the chat, the what you guys mean to me and why I do this show. So, uh, a lot of them asked me about the link for YouTube so they can, you know, like I said, not all of our members do have Facebook, but they do have access to YouTube. So they asked for the link on that, so they were able to watch the show via YouTube. Like I said, not only we stream to Facebook, we also stream to YouTube. So we have a good guest hiding in the background right now, Roy Hudson. Let's bring him on so he can introduce himself and talk about his event coming up. Hey, Roy, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, Sean. How are you?
I can't complain. I can't complain. Wouldn't do me any good if I wanted to. All right, Roy, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, well, you had asked me to kind of talk about my SEV life, so I'll kind of give it a quick talk about that before we get to talk about our event. I've been a member of the SCV, and I don't have the exact date with me, but somewhere between like 33 and 35 years. I grew up knowing that both of my parents' grandfathers were all Confederate soldiers, so I grew up knowing that was in the family, and being from Virginia, Lee and Jackson were exalted in our household. Uh, but I got to be a grown up and never knew about the SCV. And back in those days, I was reading a Civil War Times, and there was an article written by a guy named Baxter Perkinson from Virginia. And he said he was a camp commander for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. So I looked him up, got an address for him, and wrote him a letter, put a stamp on it, sent it because there were no computers then, and said, "What is this organization? I've never heard of it." And he got a hold of me. He called me. We talked, and he said, "Where's your local camp?" I says, "I don't know of one." And he looked, and there was none near Fort Pierce, Florida. So I joined his camp in Virginia for a couple of years. And then eventually I formed and started the Camp 1595, which was the Nathan Bedford Forrest Camp in Fort Pierce. And was camp commander there, and life moved on, things changed. And I've been with the SCV ever since. And right now, my current position with the SCV is one, I'm the first lieutenant commander with J.J. Dixon Camp, 1387 in Melbourne. My job as the first lieutenant commander is one, to schedule all of our programs, put the programs together. We do educational programs 11 out of 12 months a year. So we have a lot to work on to make sure we do programs. And so I make sure all that keeps running. And of course, if the commander can't make something, then I fill in his stead. Also, I'm on the Speakers Bureau for the Florida Division. So I've been going to different camps around the state, doing historical presentations. I do stuff on several generals and some battles. So I enjoy doing that a lot. I'm also a member of the Mechanized Cavalry, and I'm a sergeant for the southeast section of Florida for the Mechanized Cavalry, and have a lot of fun with those folks. As you know, you've been to several of the events. They are a good group of folks, and they really shine a good light on our organization. So I'm pretty proud of being involved with them. And last but not least, here this past year, our Commander-in-Chief, Boshers, gave me the great honor of asking me to serve on his general staff as the Inspector-in-Chief. And I've been doing that now for a few months. And for those of you that don't understand what the Inspector-in-Chief does, that was a question I got a little earlier before we came on. Basically, the SCV has a program, a policy on how to handle any issues within the SCV problems. If we have a member who does something that's not right or whatever, and most of that is handled at the division level, the camp or division level. But if it arises to something that goes beyond the division, it goes to the GEC, then the GEC has the issue investigated, and I would be the one it goes to be investigated, and it's looked over by the disciplinary committee, and if they have things that need clarified, I can clarify it for them. Then I turn my findings in to the disciplinary committee, who will take it to the GEC. So that's kind of how it works. So it's been a real privilege to be asked by Commander-in-Chief Boshers to use my 49 years of law enforcement experience to kind of be his investigator. So being the Inspector-in-Chief is something that I'm just learning more about every day, but it's a great honor to do that.
That's cool. How long did you say you've been involved with the organization?
With the SCV, probably between 33 and 35 years. It was the mid 80s when I
That's
joined.
that's a while.
Yeah, it's my home. Of all the organizations I've joined in my life, the SCV means more to me than any of them. These are my countrymen. These are my brothers and sisters, and these are the people that I want to be with. So.
That's right. That's right. All right, Roy. You have an event coming. Anybody in the chat have questions for Roy? What before he goes into his upcoming event? Uh, Not yet. It's only 8:10. Usually, people start joining chat and having conversations about 8:30. So, go ahead, Roy.
Okay, well, our camp, the J.J. Dixon camp, is real proud to announce that on January the 7th, we're going to be holding our Lee Jackson event. And we are extremely proud to announce that our guest speaker and guest of honor is going to be none other than Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshers. And to me, that's one of the biggest honors in my SCV life, to actually have the Commander-in-Chief come to a local event like that. And it shows you what kind of guy he is. He's going out and he's got his hands up to his elbows in it, and he's working hard. So we're real happy to have him come there. The event's going to be held at Cocoa Beach. The address is 301 Tucker Lane, and that's right off the I-95 and 520 exit. It's just a little bit west of there. It's at the Space Coast Convention Center and Holiday Inn Express there. And for any of you that are interested in coming, it's a Saturday night, so it's a good weekend night for us to have it. We still have tickets for sale, so if you want to get registered for the event, basically you can either get a hold of me and I can send you something. There are registration forms available on the Facebook channel. There are registration forms that Sean has. We'd love to have you come out and really get to spend some close personal time with the Commander-in-Chief. And he's been gracious enough to offer to also, that night during that event, we are swearing in 3 new members, and we are also giving out awards. And he's agreed to swear those people in for us and to help us with our award ceremony. So I told him when he comes here, we're going to work him like an Army mule, and and he had no problem with that. So we're pretty glad that he's going to come and is going to grace us with his presence. And we hope that we can do the state of Florida proud with this event.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's besides your event, he's gonna be busy that month. I think you were saying something about in January he was also gonna be in Mississippi too.
I don't know about that, but I know he's going to be doing one of the Lee Jacksons up in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
For the Kirby Smith camp the week after us. He's doing one up there, so that's 2 in January here, and I think he's got some stuff out of state also. So he's definitely a very, very busy guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was joking with him the other night. I told him you might as well just get an Airbnb or an RV.
Yeah. A couple things that I did want to talk about. And again, this is the first time I've used this, so I don't know how good I'm going to be at this.
It's
But
all right.
a couple of we have a couple of things that we're going to have at our silent auction at this event that are really kind of noteworthy. The first one is a Confederate Heroes quilt. It's got the first national flag, and then it's got a portrait of Lee and Jackson, and it's surrounded by a bunch of Confederate heroes there on it. And I'm going to try to show you that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is we have I think it's 50 by 72 battle flag throw, and that came from the estate of Commander James Haywood from the West Coast. And a lot of you guys that are from the West Coast will remember Commander Haywood. He was a legend in Florida in the SCV. And when I was a young camp commander back in 91, 92, I used to go over all the way to Tampa. It's 150 miles from where I live, straight across the state. But I used to go there a few times a year, including for his big cookout with the cabbage, swamp cabbage, and all that kind of stuff. And he taught me a lot about the SCV, and he taught me a lot about why we do what we do and how to do it. He was very prominent in putting on parades and doing a lot of things over there. So I'm going to try to swing this around if I need to go up or down, but I've got those kind of spread out on the sofa, and I want you to be able to see those, especially this Confederate Heroes. I had this made a couple of years ago, and I really want to keep it for me, but if it can help raise some money at the Lee Jackson event, then I'm going to kind of let it go. But I'm going to swing it around and see if y'all can see that, and I'm going to have Linda kind of coach me. So hold on. Okay. Can you see it? Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, got it.
Put it to the left a little bit. Good.
And then the throw there is on the other side,
A little bit for that one.
and it's not that's folded in half right now. It's huge. So anyway, just so you can get an idea, and that's just a couple of things. Those are the ones I have at my house. Some of the other camp members have things at their house that we're going to use, but really like to see you all out there. Sean, I know you're coming, and
Yep.
We have. I know one of my brigade commanders. That's the other job I didn't talk about that kind of skips over that we talked about earlier. Is I am a lieutenant commander for the southeast part of Florida. So I have 10 camps, three brigades, 10 camps that run from south of Miami to Orange County. So it's a huge area, and I'm really honored. And I work with a bunch of great people. We just did an officers call November 5th, had 7 of the camps represented. We were able to exchange ideas and get to see faces we don't get to see all the time. So we're doing a lot of really good stuff. You know, Calvin Hart talks to us about being division strong, and I really think we're there. I mean, our division is rocking and rolling. Just about every camp has a lot of good activities going, and we're doing stuff all over the state. And so I'm just proud to be a little part of this.
Yeah, for me, Roy's my neighbor and very good friend of mine and a fellow brother. Same, you don't see her, you may be hearing her every now and then. Same with his wife. Very close friends of mine. Even though I'm not in his region, he's only 2 hours away. If he called me and said he needed help, he knows I'll drop what I do and be there to help him out.
And it works both ways, and you know that.
E- Exactly, Roy. So man, that's cool. I like the throw rug and that quilt. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I had a lady. I begged her for a long time to make it for me, and she did. Of course, she didn't do it for free. But she made it, and it's been sitting in my house for a couple of years, and I absolutely love it. But for the cause, I'll donate it. So
I know the feeling.
yeah,
I know the feeling. Sometimes you got to do that to help the cause.
yeah.
Yeah, because I got some items here I'm going to be sending up to National for the museum. I have a diecast car. It was a prototype of the SCV car that was going to get introduced back in the 80s.
Hmm.
Uh, there was talks of Jeff Gordon driving it. I have not confirmed confirmed that with anybody, but uh, yeah, it's a mock up of a sponsorship that the SCV was going to do in NASCAR. I believe back in the 80s, early 90s.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, so I'm going to donate that to the museum for the pop culture. Because last night on SCV Chat, listening to Adam Sutherland about the pop culture, I'm like, I got something for him.
Yeah, that section is going to be cool, and I hope they find something from the old TV show from the '50s, The Gray Ghost. Because as you know, I'm a big Mosby fan because I had
Hmm.
ancestors that rode with Mosby, and when I was a kid, I used to watch that religiously. It was like in the late '50s they had that TV show on, so I'm hoping that Adam can secure something from that show. That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Granted, I was only born in the 70s, but you
It's not
know,
your
one
fault.
no, but I still watch it today. Hey, Rich. Uh, hey, Mr. Garcia. My favorite show. Don't knock me. I'm sure a lot of you would agree with me. Would be Mash. Yeah. That's my personal opinion. Like I said earlier, anything can fly out of my mouth. I've never seen The Great Ghost, but ooh,
Ooh.
yeah, I guess he just joined the chat. I'm gonna give a shout out to our commander in chief. He's in the chat and just said the diecast would be a great addition to the pop culture section.
It will be. The nice thing about that TV show, The Gray Ghost, just to go back to it,
Yeah.
the Southerners were good guys. The Confederates were good guys. Imagine that today.
Uh, I tell you what, watching the shows that Ted Turner was doing, like
Right.
the Battle of Gettysburg, he started out with doing Gods and
Dodge and
Generals.
Generals, yeah.
He didn't make it to the last part in that trilogy, the last full measure.
Right.
But uh, I mean, my opinion, I think he stayed to the facts and not get Hollywood or politics involved with it. But that's my opinion. Jason, check your Mr. Boshiers, check your DMs. But yeah, hey, Christian Lee is in the chat. Rich Garcia, Kim Colors, Kim Hoffecker. Sorry, Kim, if I pronounced your last name wrong. We got, of course, Linda, but Linda's helping Roy out right now, so so we have a lot of good people in the chat. Does it, well, I got Roy's attention. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free. I don't think he's shy. If he was, he wouldn't be on this show.
It took you a while to get me here, buddy. It's the first time I've tried this.
Hey, Roy, Linda, I both appreciate it.
Yeah.
Kim was saying, was it 1965 when the Ford Motor Company come out with a car called the Confederate? I don't know.
Don't know that one.
I don't know either. Yeah, not familiar with that one.
And I'm a car guy, so I'm really surprised I don't know about that one. But if it did, God bless him.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I really didn't plan anything. My main focus was Roy tonight. So, eh, well, you got our attentions. Feel free to ask questions. You know, but in your questions, put in it who it's to, either me or Roy. But Roy, that sounds like a fun event. I'm looking forward to coming over and hanging out with you and Linda and the members over there in January.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And like I said, to have the commander in chief there, that's pretty special. And I told him on the phone the other night that I really envy those guys getting sworn in. To be actually sworn into the organization by the commander in chief is quite an honor. So that's going to be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a cool honor when our past division commander, Kelly Crocker, swore me in as brigade commander in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to stay, Kelly Crocker and David King swore me in. That's going to stay in my memory to the day I die. Hopefully I don't get Alzheimer's, but, hopefully I can remember that one. It does run in my family, so we have that coming up, just like Roy said earlier. Kirby Smith Camp has their event coming up. I know. Oh yeah, I did want to talk about this. Let me bring this up. I was kind of proud of friends of mine that did this up in that area. I did share it on the page. Sons of Confederate Veterans Camp St. John Rangers installed a total of 6 headstones this weekend. Woohoo! Yeah, Byron and Carl and the guys from the St. John's camp really rocked and rolled this weekend. Let me see if I could. Okay, I clicked on the wrong thing. Let me. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. As you could tell, that these are pictures from their event that they did this weekend, installing 6 headstones. As you can tell, I like how they made up this wooden plank to hold the headstone together to be able to set it in the ground. There you go. There's Byron right there installing the headstone. They got the name block, but it's for a soldier in the 2nd Florida Cavalry. So, yeah, it's Daniel J. Clifton. Yes, I can make out the name with that strap on it. But yeah, I'm proud of those guys up there in the northeast central Florida, uh, rocking and rolling this weekend. Yeah, like I said, we got a lot of hard charging, active people in the Florida division. While always doing something. A camp somewhere in the state is doing something just about every weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're interested in joining the Sons of Confederate Veterans here in the state of Florida, or you're moving to Florida, you're looking for a camp, feel free to poke me. I'll put you in touch with our division adjutant, or if not, if that camp in that area has a Facebook page, a way for you to get a hold of them, I'll get you that information. That's what we need to do is help out each other and grow. So I wanted to do a little surprise for Roy. I guess yeah, like me and Roy talked earlier about our commander in chief being very busy. I was hoping for him to pop on the show and surprise Roy. I sent him a DM with the link for the show if you wanted to pop in and say hi. Uh, but I know he's busy. Uh, so man, we've been going at this for about 30 minutes. I do want to
Yep.
talk about next show, guys. Next Tuesday, I have the honor of bringing Rich Garcia in. He's in the chat, and cousin Vinny. We're going to be talking about the Hispanics in Florida. As we know, Florida has a rich Hispanic heritage going back to pretty much when our country got founded by Spain through St. Augustine, which is present day St. Augustine, Florida, going back to the 1500s. Yes, there's a debate where the first Thanksgiving was, either there, Plymouth. I heard the other day that there was
Virginia.
a third. Yeah, thank you, Roy, for that one. Uh, Roy, Sandy is asking the dates for your event in Cocoa.
The date is January the 7th. That's a Saturday, first Saturday, I believe.
Yep. You get that, Sandy? Hope you and Al can make it.
They're supposed to be coming. We're looking for them.
Hey, they live closer to the. Well, I think us and them are pretty much the same distance per se. There you go. She said, "Thank you, Roy."
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you guys can ask questions just like Mrs. Massey did. Yeah, she goes, "We have reservations."
They do.
I'm glad you joined the conversation, Sandy. Hope Al's doing good. So, yeah, like I said, we're going to be talking about the Hispanics in Florida next Tuesday. I wanted to do that episode last month when it was uh, Hispanic Heritage Month, but uh, it's good to hear, Sandy, that Rich Garcia and Cousin Vinny schedules, uh, and mine couldn't, the stars couldn't align up. So, remember, this is Native American Month. The reservations throughout the state of Florida for the Miccosukee, the Seminoles, and various others are having events. So please check them out. The Miccosukee tribe has a Facebook page, and they have a website. Same with the Seminole Nation with their various tribes. So if you guys need more information about the Florida division, please check out our Facebook page or our website. Our webmaster and Calvin Hart and Rick Roberts is rock and rolling, getting that up to date. So to be able to get us the information and you guys the information that you need. And if you're looking to join a camp, you want to know more about the Florida division, please check out our website. A lot of good information on there. Eh, you know, I'm on there, Roy's on there. So if you're looking for a division officer in your area, that's how you can get a hold of us. If you have questions or I'm not too sure, Roy, maybe you can answer that one. Rich Garcia asked, does Florida Division have any Seminole SEV members?
I don't know for sure, but my tendency is to say yes. It seems like I've met somebody that had Seminole blood in them at one of our events, but I can't swear to it. I can't give you a name.
Yeah, same here. I've met some Seminoles in the past through a good friend of mine, Clarence Patterson, that may the Lord be with you, has passed away several years ago. Uh, and they were all people that he introduced me to were around Clewiston, Moorhaven area, friends of
Right.
his. But other than that, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, if Rick Roberts joined the chat, he'd be the best one for that. But yeah, uh, check out our website. A lot of good information on there. So I can keep rambling on, or Roy, you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, sir. I think you've got everything out of me that I came here to give you. So if I can be of service later or something, let me know. But just thank you for the opportunity to come out and kind of tell people about what we're doing because, not just my camp, but the whole division is busy. We've got a busy bunch of folks that do a lot of work, and I'll be going next week, not this week, but next week, I'll be going down to Jim Odell's camp in Fort Pierce, 1590.
Roy, I got a surprise for you.
Yeah.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend.
He is kind of legendary with that suit on.
Yes, sir, he is.
How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. How y'all folks doing down in Florida?
We're fine.
Yeah, we can't complain.
Good. Thank you for inviting me on. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to, Mr. Boshears, I wanted to support Roy Hudson tonight, and I figured you were busy with some stuff going on, either real life or SCV. So,
Well, we had a 7 o'clock conference call. I'm sure y'all probably heard of a few things happening with the renaming of the bases and Arlington Cemetery. So we had that. That call just ended. And I appreciate the invite to hop on here and say hi to my good friend Roy. And I'm looking forward to seeing y'all early in January.
We are looking forward to welcoming you, sir. And if you got any secret information to give us about the Arlington thing, I'm listening. That is dear to my heart. One of my great grandpas is buried in the Confederate section there.
Then you and I will need to talk.
Okay.
And I will be giving you a call. I don't think it's going to happen tonight because I'm only going to be here a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
We've got another thing at 8 o'clock. We're getting another group of guys together. We're going to talk some more about it, but I might call you tonight if you're up late. If
I'm
not,
up late.
okay.
I'm up late. Not a problem.
Okay, then I'll probably give you a call. It'll probably be about an hour or so.
Not a problem.
And I'll give you a call about that. And talk to you about a few things. So that's going to be good. And thank you for providing that information. Yes,
sir. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you and everything you're doing. Looking forward to seeing y'all. Thank y'all for doing this. These chat sessions, they're good. They pull a lot of people in. They get a lot of attention. And I want to thank y'all, Sean, especially for going through the effort to doing this. This is not a small task. it's tough to get organized. You have to get all of the equipment, and then to have guests and have a good program takes a lot of work. And Sean, I want to thank you for that.
Sir, I do appreciate that, and thank you. If it wasn't for you giving the boys at SCV Chat, uh, that's where I kind of got the idea, was from you and them.
Well, we were down in Jacksonville, and I've told this story a couple of times. Connor and Moose just come up with this idea and started talking about it, and it seemed like a great idea. And I participated a whole lot. Then I decided to let those boys do what they needed to do and branch out and grow this. And instead of just having the same old guest on all of the time, bring on people like Roy, who are very good at what they do, and somebody to look up to and try to emulate and do the best job. And Roy does a great job. He's always going to be there. He's always going to do the work. And I appreciate him, and I appreciate everything you're doing. Appreciate what everybody in Florida is doing. I'm also going to be at the Lee Jackson in Jacksonville. I think it's on the 15th, I believe
15th.
it is.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'll be down there for that. So I'll be visiting Florida twice in January, and I think that's a great thing. And y'all do a tremendous amount of work, and I appreciate it. Worked a lot with Kelly Crocker, visited a lot there. Y'all probably know of a fella down there by the name of Daryl Ratteray, and I visited with Daryl a few times, and he's taken me around Dixie County, and can't wait to get back down there and visit with him some more. So him and I are working on something for a little more up in the year, and then I'll probably be down there for several days. Because
Dixie County still has the 10 Commandments statue at their courthouse.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I actually had my picture made with that.
That is a wonderful thing.
When I saw it, I go, this is beautiful. This is what we got to have. So, yes. And thank y'all for allowing me to come on. I do appreciate that. And Roy, I want to thank you for stepping up and doing everything that you've done for me. And I do appreciate it.
Yes, sir. It's an honor.
I do. Well, honor's mine, and it's been a pleasure working with you.
Oh.
Well, Sean, while I'm on here, I'm not able to see if anybody's got any questions or anything. I'm not saying that I can provide any answers, but I will see what I can do. If somebody has something they want to say, they can even yell at me and call me names. That's fine.
Hey, you guys heard it right from the horse's mouth.
Oh, it happens. It happened.
Guys, well, we have our the commander-in-chief on. Does anybody have any questions for him? Ronnie, I saw your question. DM me your email address, and I'll send you that registration form to you for Roy's event.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to enjoy coming down and visiting some time with y'all. I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be good.
The weather will be better.
Oh, yes, sir. Right now it's about 60 degrees, and it's been raining since about 1 o'clock our time. So we've got quite a bit of rain. We've had thunderstorms moving in and out. And right now we've got a pretty good one sitting on top of us. So, yes, sir. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot warmer down there.
Most likely.
Oh, yes.
For sure. It'd be warmer for hopefully it's warmer for you. It'd probably be a little bit chilly for me and Roy.
Well, we're gonna get down to we're gonna get in the 30s tonight after this rain happens and the cold front moves through, and tomorrow's high gonna be in the 40s, and then it's gonna start coming back up. Just so everybody knows, we got a whole lot going on at HQ. If you followed last night, I heard you mention about SCV Chat and Adam Southern being on. We continue to have artifacts coming in, and and we are actively looking for stuff for the Gray Ghost. That is something that we've put calls out for, and we're going to keep talking about it, hoping somebody jump up and say something. Hey, look what I've got. And just like this diecast, I can't wait to see that die cast. It seemed like I saw a mock-up of that car. Man, it had to be back in the 80s.
I think Sterling Marlin may have been the guy that was going to drive that. Come to think of it,
Maybe, yeah.
I think it was Sterling Marlin
Now Sterling, now after Sterling got out of NASCAR, that would have been in 2018. He was running a car for us then, with the SCV logo on it. But I did not know he was going to run one in NASCAR.
I'm not sure. It was, I'm not. That I may have that confused, but it was a pretty good name that was going to run it way back when they talked about it and built the diecast, and then it kind of fell through.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be a great thing to have myself. We had quite a bit of success when Sterling was running. We ended up getting a lot of attention. It seemed to be getting the most attention going up and down the road because he put our information on his trailer. So anytime he was going somewhere, that was a rolling billboard for us. And we got, anytime he traveled, we got more calls to 1-800-MY-SOUTH than we could keep up with. So we got quite a bit of success out of it. Might not have, I don't look at success as just being members or membership gained. I look at it as people starting to know us, people learning us,
right,
people knowing that we're out there. That seems to be the hardest problem that we have had. Even when we've gone to visit politicians, they got our name wrong. But after we visit with them for a little while, they start getting our name right. It gives us some notoriety, and we've got that rolling billboard. It'd be great to have an SCV car out there, and that might be something that comes back in the future. It'd be a great thing to have, I think. But having that die cast seemed like I saw that back in the 80s. I mean, it could have been in the 90s, but I think having that would be great. And the stuff from the Gray Ghost, I think the pop culture section is going to take off. That's what people are probably going to relate to more than anything because it's stuff they remember or they saw. And I think it's going to be a great thing. We still got a lot of work to do in the museum. You're never going to be done with it. When people say, well, when are you going to be done? Well, you're never going to be done. We're always going to be working on it, always improving. Right now, we're looking at some cabinets being made, some new cabinets to bring in, doing our displays differently. Going to look at some things we can do during first part of next year. The first part in the museum, when you go in, that's kind of got the lower ceiling on it. We're going to be doing some temporary exhibits there. You know, somebody brings in and says, okay, I have a collection of, rifles. Well, we'll do their collection of rifles there for a temporary time, and just keep a rotation going. And then the back part of the museum is going to be more of our larger artifacts that are not going to roll out or exchange that much. So, yeah, look for it to change and look for it to keep changing. And we're never going to get done with it. You're never going to be done.
Well, sir, we do have a question from Kim Colors. Is there any upcoming events at the museum?
At the museum, as you know, this coming weekend, we have the Murray County Home Tours, and the museum is going to be part of that ticket price. So people will be coming in and viewing the museum and then going over to Elm Springs. So they're going to be able to view the house and the museum. As far as scheduling things for the first part of next year, we're looking at starting some things in March to where we're going to have some living histories out there. And we want to get it before it gets too hot. Then we're going to be preparing for April, which is going to be Confederate History Month. Then the first weekend in May, we have our pilgrimage and homecoming. So this time of year, it's kind of hard to plan. Tennessee weather can be extremely flaky. We could have 70 degree one day and then have snow the next day. And even this past year, this year, we had a snow in March. So we hate to really start planning much in January and February. That's when we're going to tidy up a lot of things in the museum, get our artifacts ready for display, and we got a pile of work to do in our library. All the donations that we've had with books, we've got so much work to do, all the categorying and putting things on the shelf. We've got a lot of work to do there. So as far as events, you can look for them to start being advertised, and you're going to see some in I've already sent my article for the January, February edition. So you'll start seeing stuff advertised for the March, April edition of the Confederate Veteran, what we have planned for the year. We're going to have concerts off the front of the porch. We had one of those this past year. We're probably looking at doing a car show up in May, near the end of May, maybe the beginning of June. We just have to get on their schedule and get that advertised. So we do have some events. We know we're going to do 6 concerts and at least 2 car shows next year, and then have living histories. You heard Adam talk about having the museum open one Saturday a month. That will be the day we'll be out there doing living histories and doing things like that. So we're talking about having quilt shows out there. We're talking about having blacksmiths come out. We're talking about the wood turners, the bowl makers, those kind of people. We've got a guy that's I'm working with him, talked with him last few days. I don't remember what day it was. He's a broom maker, and that is something that can be done inside. So we're going to have a broom maker come out and show people how they used to make brooms years ago. We're going to try to bring back as much of and display as much of our Southern culture and Southern history and what developed this nation. So you'll be able to see what your great grandparents did. So I hope that answered the questions.
Kim, did that answer both of your questions? Hey, Rob, welcome to the show, sir.
Commander, I've got a question. Do we know when have they started putting those pavers down yet? The pavers,
the bricks and pavers. No, they haven't yet. And here's the reason why. As you know, we voted to put the equestrian statue back. Right. And right now we're looking at how much earth moving we're going to be doing. Don't really want to put bricks and pavers down until we decide how the equipment's going to get in, how much dirt we're going to have to move. Put the entire plaza back. It's 50 feet deep and 75 feet wide. And if you've been to the forest burial site, that's going to stretch pretty well. We figure we'll start with the bricks, depending on where they're going to come in with their equipment. We're probably going to start them from the museum. Have any of y'all been there lately since we put the Robert E. Lee statue up?
I have.
Okay. We're going to, with the Robert E. Lee statue, we're going to start it in front of it and do the walkway with the bricks and pavers going out to the burial site. As you know, we're not going to be able to go too far because we're going to have a lot of equipment and a lot of earth moving in there. So that's where we're making a determination. We don't want to put bricks and pavers out there and start busting them up. So, no. So, and it's, we're going to know some more on the forest deal, hopefully in March, and start having a time frame. You're going to see an advertisement coming out in the January, February Confederate Veteran that's going to be advertising us raising money for that. As you know, that is not a budgeted item, and contrary to popular belief, we cannot spend money that is not budgeted for. People say that, well, the GEC spends money like drunken sailors. Well, we cannot spend money that y'all have not told us we could spend. And we have to stay within our budget. And we figure it's going to cost $150,000 to put the entire plaza back. We were good stewards when we did the forestry interment. We had $60,000 left over from that. We're going to apply that to putting up the plaza. And we've already raised some more money on top of that. And that total is now, I believe, $78,000 that we've already raised. So we're halfway to where we need to be. But you're going to start seeing an advertisement there in the Confederate Veteran.
Woo. Question did come up, Jason. Can you see that?
Yes, I'm still interested in knowing if the museum will host presentations on the exhibits. Yes, but I'm going to ask Kim a little bit further question. I know that Kim has donated some artifacts to us, all the models that he has built, and they have drawn a tremendous amount of attention. So if we were going to take and put his exhibits on display, I think it would be great if we could have Kim up there on a particular day, or a particular, we do it on a Saturday, and have Kim up there and say, this is the guy that made them, and have him go through that. And if that's something that he would be interested in. But yes, we're going to have presentations on the exhibits. Yes. We have to give some insight into why we're doing what we're doing and educate people on the entire process. And that's all part of it.
Yeah.
I hope I answered that question.
Kim, he said, thank you, sir.
Okay, good. Good.
Hey, we got Roy here. We got our commander in chief here. Guys, ask the questions. Yeah, as we all know, with SCV chat, they do get busy uh, trying to stick to their schedule. Right now, me and Roy already talked about his event that Mr. Bashir's coming down in January. So this is the time where you got Roy and Mr. Bashir's ear to ask questions.
Well, I will say this, and I hate to be the bad person here, but I probably only have about another 5 to 7 minutes because I'm going to have to jump off on another meeting. So, and I hate to be rude about that, but I just appreciate the invitation to be on, and I thank you for it.
Mr. Boshiers, I appreciate you coming on the show.
That's my honor.
I know it's kind of a last minute thing, but I wanted to surprise Roy.
Well, last minute things happen all the time, and I understand. I just happy you gave me the invitation, and I was happy I could get on. So this is good.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you popping on and chatting with me, Roy, and quite a bit of our members in the Florida division. And I'm sure that they appreciate you too coming on and talking with all of us.
Oh, it's my honor. Every time I've always come to Florida, I've enjoyed it. I've been to the division reunion several times down there. I visited several other camps. It's hard to get around to everybody, and that's but I love coming down and I love seeing everyone. And I do look forward to seeing Roy. I think it's January 5th and 6th is we're going to be there. And then I'll be back in Jacksonville on January 15th. And who knows what Daryl Rattery's going to have planned by the time this happens, but it's going to be it's going to be great to see everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I know you're busy, and I want to say thank you for popping on tonight. And I understand you got to go.
Well, I do appreciate that, Mr. Roy. Thank you for everything you're doing. Appreciate what you contacted me about today. Appreciate you sending that to me. Thank you for it. And I appreciate everything you're doing and the look around South Florida. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me come on. I do follow your show when I'm able to get on, and I've been on a few times, but to actually pop on and say hi to everybody is very good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All righty. Well, I've got about 5 minutes before I have to jump on this other deal. And I'm 58 years old, and I kind of need to go to the bathroom and do all that kind of stuff that we'd have to do. So if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and jump off here. Thank y'all for having me on.
Thank you, sir.
See y'all soon.
Have a good night, sir.
Yep.
All righty. Did I catch you off guard, Roy?
Yeah, a little bit. He's a good man. I'm very proud that he's our boss. So
I'm glad he had a couple minutes to join the chat.
Okay.
Sorry, Kim. He got to go. As we all know, He is a very busy man, and he wants to help us all out. How about a museum exhibit for all the? That's a good question, Kim. That's a good question for this bleh. You know, if you asked me about 5 minutes ago, I'll probably be able to say it. But yeah,
It's just between.
thanks, Linda. I heard you. See, see see, guys. This is why the OCR is here. They help us out a lot. She keeps Roy in line, and she keeps me in line.
Impossible.
All right, guys. We've been going at this for an hour.
Yep.
So I'm gonna call it a night. Want to thank Roy for coming on the show. So you guys had a chance to meet Roy if you haven't had a chance to make it to a division reunion. So in the background with Roy, that's his wife, Linda. Linda, can you pop in and just say hi?
Are you going to do this or not?
Oh, what am I doing?
He wants you to pop in and say hi.
That's okay.
He said, she said that's okay.
All right.
Dress for TV.
Yeah.
There you go.
As you know, every good man has a good woman behind him.
Mhm.
So, thank you, Roy and Linda.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. I might as well just go with the SCV chat and say chat heads. That's their thing. So I'm going to roll with it. Thank you all for joining the show tonight. I appreciate it. I'm also appreciated our commander in chief had time to pop in and say hi and answer a few questions. With that being said, I'm gonna roll this video. Stay Southern. Stay Southern. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Have fun, guys. See you next Tuesday for Rich Garcia and Cousin Vinny.
When my mother was in college, she danced with Confederate veterans. To me, it wasn't that far away. You know, my father knew this. My mother knew this. Almost 50 years ago, I joined the Sons of Confederate Veterans. In those days, we weren't concerned about saving monuments or any of those things. That wasn't necessary. In fact, none of us had any remote idea that it would ever come up. We can't just sit there and react. We have to be proactive. Or, as Robert E. Lee said, the best way to disrupt your enemy's plans is to strike first. Everyone should do all in his power to collect and disseminate the truth, in the hope that it may find a place in history and descend to posterity. History is not the relation of campaigns and battles and generals or other individuals, but that which shows the principles for which the South contended and which justified her struggle for those principles. If you're looking for some place to be where you think you're going to accomplish something to save our history, go to the Sons of Confederate Veterans. I'm Thomas Lee Jesse. I'm a descendant of Private Daughtery Gilmer, a Confederate veteran.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining the chat and the show tonight. Stay safe. Keep waving those flags. Have a good night, all.